desperate for one. And he's listening to what a start. I still think he's going to get better as well.
Yeah, you think so? He looked really excited, wanted to go off the shoulder. Alison, you know that Celtic fans have been crying out for a new forward, especially with the kind of spectre of Odsonne Edouard possibly leaving. Do you think he could be the man that could replace him as the out-and-out number 9, the top goal scorer?
It looks that way. He's certainly playing through the middle at the minute. Whether or not if they bring in another striker, if Edward goes, it might mean he can be shuffled out to the side. I think he's got that versatility, which I think Celtic have needed. But I thought he looked a very exciting prospect. That's 4 goals in 2 games, hat-trick at the weekend and then 1 in midweek. But I thought his movement, as much as his finishing, I think caught the eye. I think his link-up play, I think, as Tam says, I think it's the kind of player that Celtic have been crying out for, just in terms of getting bums off seats and getting people excited. And I think Odsonne Edouard has looked as though his head has maybe been away, given all the talk about moves, and he looks a bit distracted. And I think Furuhashi's just come in and offered a bit of optimism about what the season could hold that has been absent for the last few weeks.
You talk about catching the eye. He certainly caught his manager's eye. Here's what Ange Postecoglou had to say about the new Japanese forward.
It's quite incredible. He could have probably had a couple more as well, but I think people see what I've seen in him for the last 3-4 years. It's not just his goals, it's his movement, and it's just his willingness to work. I mean, he closed down players, and I think, if anything, that buys more into the kind of person he is, and I think the fans really appreciate that, because it's great getting the goals, but when they see his efforts in a defensive sense, they know that he's given everything for the shirt.
Yeah, the fans certainly appreciate Furuhashi's harrying of the defenders. 25,000 fans in there at the weekend, roughly more to be inside a full capacity for Ibrox and Parkhead midweek. Do you think that was, we said a sign of things to come, but do you think that's what Postecoglou wants? Free-flowing attacking football, plenty of chances?
I think we've all seen that middle to front Celtic are just as Celtic always are. They've got a lot of pace, they've got a lot of imagination. It's the defence that's been the problem. That wasn't a problem at the weekend because Dundee never threatened it at all. So no, he has given them a bit of injection. He's given them that striker now that's got that 5 yards ahead of anybody else, that injection of pace that he's got. But you certainly need people like Christie and Turnbull. Some of the passing at the weekend, splitting defences, was magnificent. And for a player like him, it must have been a joy. They were just putting it right onto his feet. No, I think they'll be expecting a lot more. But we couldn't judge the defence because they weren't tested. So for me, that's all Celtic have got to get organised.
Talk about the defence. Anthony Ralston scoring again. 2 in 2 games. You'd have been proud of that finish. What about Ralston then? There have been a lot of Celtic fans been saying, we don't want him to be the first choice right back. But after the first 2 games, they're almost saying perhaps we should give him a chance.
Yeah, I think the Celtic fans over the whole have been fairly critical of him and his performances. I think he's a player who's kind of been in and out the team, been out on loan a few times. I don't think Celtic fans see him as their right back going forward, but the boy's in there, he's doing well, he's trying his best, he's played well, he's got a couple of goals this season, and maybe Postecoglou will breathe new life into his Celtic career, the way he wants him to play. And listen, as long as he keeps playing well and the team's winning, then he'll stay in the team, so it's up to him.
And Ryan Christie as well. Postecoglou speaking at the full-time whistle. Obviously, his contract's also up at the end of the year, but 3 assists for him. He looked back to his best, looked aggressive, tenacious. Do you think he could stay? Is that, with the new manager?
He's in an excellent start to the season. He looks focused. He looks a lot like the Ryan Christie of old. I think he's looked very energetic again. I think he's been pivotal to the way that Postecoglou wants the team to play. I think it makes sense to offer him a deal and at least give him a decision to make. I think if you put it in front of him and you say there's an opportunity to stay here, be part of a new chapter at the club, he looks as though he would be key. He would be a key member of that team. He would be playing regularly. There's a prospect of going back and winning trophies and everything that comes with playing for Celtic. And I think at least you have to give him the decision to make by putting the contract in front of him.
Still no offer for Ryan Christie yet from the Hoops. Fantastic day for him though yesterday, 3 assists as I said. Not a fantastic day for Dundee, beaten 6-0. They've only got a point so far after their first 2 games. Manager James McPake knows that they were well below par yesterday.
What we need to do is, what we can't do is paper over the cracks. We've got to look at it and find out exactly where, or not exactly, or where it went wrong and how we can be better, because we've got a long season coming up. We're up a division now. I think today we did catch them on a very good day, but my focus was on Dundee, and they caught us on a very poor day, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were poor yesterday, Ruffy. Jordan Marshall with a late red card. They didn't even have a shot on target.
No, I don't think they were under par. I think it was just Celtic were so good, you know. And we spoke to Charlie on Friday night, and Charlie was saying, "Oh, we've got a plan. We've got a plan. We're going to go and attack them," you know. And I said, "Oh, that's fair enough. I would rather see a team going to Parkhead and doing that." But there's not the first time somebody's went and did that and come off 5 and 6 and 7. You know, so if you're prepared to do that and you're prepared to accept that's what's going to happen, then you have to just regroup for the rest of the games and just bin it out the road. But I don't think Dundee were under par. I just think they were outplayed.
You give Charlie a bit of stick at the full-time whistle, did you?
I did. It didn't start well with him. The video coming off the bus, he was getting slaughtered by Celtic fans, and supposedly every throw in every corner. I think the only times he touched the ball yesterday was at set pieces. But listen, I spoke to him last night. He says they were well beaten, and you know, as Ruffy says, they've just got to dust yourself down. You know, listen, we've all been there. The Celtic and Rangers going there and getting it down. Listen, I think the bread and butter is the Dundee Utds, your Ross Counties, you know, St Mirren, teams round about them down there who will be Livingston. I think if Dundee can stay in the league this season, then build for next season. But I don't think anybody should be getting carried away with Dundee coming up.
Okay, we'll hear from Charlie himself when he's in on Wednesday. We can have a look at all of the results from the Cinch Premiership then. Of course, Celtic winning 6-0. We're going to go on to Dundee United against Rangers next. That's a standout one for me. That was a game I was actually at, Alison, Saturday lunchtime. I don't know if you watched the highlights, but it was a raucous atmosphere at Tannadice, even with 5,000 fans in there. It was just a really good occasion, because it was also the first time that they've seen their team in the top flight, and a great day for them, wasn't it?
I'm sure they would have enjoyed it. I'm sure they relished the occasion, getting back in, and a memorable afternoon too. I don't think any of us would have predicted that. In fact, I know none of us predicted it. But I don't think anyone would have envisaged it coming. I think the domestic league run that Rangers were on, I don't think we would have anticipated that that's where it was going to come to an end. I think they looked like a team full of confidence. I think you would have predicted that they would have picked themselves up from Malmo and got back to winning ways. But I thought Dundee United played very well. I thought they were aggressive. I thought they were energetic. I thought they really took the game to Rangers. They had to defend, obviously, at times, and they had to be organised at times. But I think it was a performance that certainly the home support would have enjoyed.
We'll get on to Rangers in a second, but we'll just stay with United at the moment. I spoke to Tam Courts, their manager, after the full-time whistle. He told us that before the game they just kind of sensed that they could get a big result.
That sneaking suspicion after the low of last week that maybe we could just do something special this week. I don't know where it came from, I just had a feeling, and I think the boys were outstanding today. To understand that there was a little bit of furore, and particularly with the performance last week, but as it stands so far, we've progressed in the cup competition, we've beat last season champions, and we've had one blot in the copybook. So I think the key thing for me is to try and remain as measured and as calm as possible, regardless of performances and results.
Yeah, no one saw it coming, Ruffy, but certainly their biggest result since coming back up to the top flight, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how he sensed there was a result coming after the Aberdeen performance. I mean, it was dire, you know, so he's obviously worked hard throughout the week, and obviously he thought maybe with Rangers getting beat with Malmo, maybe there was sometimes when you lose a game you maybe lose another one, but they had to work for it. You know, Rangers did have chances, but it never went their way. But I think the noticeable thing for me was when that goal went in, a lot of heads went in, you know, and you could see them visibly going, well, this hasn't happened to us for a long, long time. Who's going to change this around? And then when the final whistle went, it was the same. You know, it was a sight that we haven't seen for how many games is it? 40 or something like that.
Yeah, 40 games.
So tomorrow's game is a big game for them.
Do you think the fans played a big part of that, Alison?
I think it's huge. I think. I mean, you guys will both know more than I do, but I think sometimes there are players who are inhibited by a noisy stadium, that when passes go astray and you can feel the frustration from the stand. I think some players go into themselves. I think for others, you maybe feed off the energy of a crowd and feed off the noise of a full stadium. For others, I think it can be quite an intimidating arena, and I actually think that Rangers benefited from not having full stadiums last season. It sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but I think for some players grew more in confidence. I think there was maybe a freedom in it, and I think going back to feeling the pressure of hearing the noise and hearing the frustrations of people round about you, I think there are certain players that find it quite tough to cope with.
There's no doubt there's less pressure in an empty stadium, is there, Tam? But do you think it almost, obviously, it does hinder the away team, but it almost helps the home team more? Because once Dundee United were ahead, they didn't look like conceding. You had Charlie Mulgrew whipping them up and just heading absolutely everything away. And with the fans behind their back, they just looked, invincible, like they weren't going to concede.
I think when you're at home and you're playing against Old Firm and you go ahead, they can keep you going. The fans, the energy for them, to go and chase them or knackered, all the fans are rolling, cheering, go and shut them down, and it just gives you a wee bit of a lift. And I agree with Alison. I think that some players, like say myself, sometimes at Hibs, if things weren't going well and fans were on your back, easy to hide, just not wanting the ball, because if you make a mistake, you hit a shot over the bar or whatever, fans have been top of you. And a lot of players would have preferred to play in closed-door games. And I've played with a load of them, and I think it's a different kettle of fish when the fans are back in, and different if you're doing well, if you're winning games. Like Celtic over the last few seasons at home, they've been winning most games. The fans have been behind them. But if you're losing games, particularly at Ibrox and Parkhead, the fans are on your back. It can be difficult to win them round, and I think it will be a big difference this season for Rangers. I think it will be a big difference, especially when they get back to Ibrox and full houses, when things are not going well. First 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you're maybe getting beat or you're 0-0. When you start to feel the moans and groans. So it'll be interesting to see how Rangers got on this season.
Yeah, big game Tuesday for them coming up. We'll hear from Stephen Gerrard in a second. Obviously, he hasn't spoken to us, but we'll have the graphic up. But just staying on that at the weekend.
Spoke to anybody?
No, not spoken to anyone. Well, we're doing our best at the moment. He didn't speak to us at the weekend. We only got Dundee United. But do you think is there any cause for concern yet for Rangers, or is it them just kind of building into the season? They did start a bit slowly last year. They drew away to Livingston. They didn't really ignite until about October, November.
No, I don't think you've seen the finishing article with Rangers. There's been one or two players left out or for whatever reason not playing. I think that at the end of the season, last season, they had an 11 that played all the time, and that was their strength. So I think they've still got a bit to go. I was reading this morning, Keith Jackson, I think, was asking a few questions, and quite rightly there was a few questions to be asked. And I'm sure the Rangers manager himself would be saying to himself, look, man, maybe should have did something. The centre forward in particular, I think, should have been brought back a lot more earlier than what he had, knowing that Roof and all them were all injured. So, I think once he gets his 11 back, he'll know where he is. Yeah,
it's quite strange, because obviously I can't myself ask Stephen Gerrard any questions, but I would have asked about Morelos. I don't think he looked his sharpest at the weekend, Alison. Also, Lundstram. He's a really good player. I'm a big fan of him at Sheffield United, goal-scoring midfielder, fantasy football hero for everyone down south. But he hasn't seemed to find the way that he can fit into that midfield just yet. Does he replace Kamara? Can they complement each other? I think they just need to find the balance, find the right 11.
I think balance is a key word. I think that it's always the same when you're introducing new players into a team, particularly a team that has been so settled and so consistent over the last 12 months or so. I think it is just about finding the balance and giving them time. I think sometimes we can be very quick to judge up here. I think we maybe are passing judgments after half a dozen games or what have you. I think you maybe just have to be patient and let him bed in. As for Morelos, like you, I thought he looked off the pace at the weekend. I didn't think he looked particularly fit, or certainly not match fit or not match sharp. I think he looked a shadow of what we've seen in previous campaigns, and again I think it might just take him a wee bit of time to get up to speed. But it was curious as to why he was away for so long and not back within the squad, given the magnitude of Champions League qualifiers.
Gabs, I think the problem with Lundstram is going to be Rangers are getting so much of the ball. He was at Sheffield United last season, they never got a kick of the ball. He was doing a lot of defending, a lot of ratting in and about people. Now, by the way, you're on the ball all day. They're not going to let you have the ball. So I think it's going to take a while for him to adjust to being in a team that is going to dominate the football for 60-70% of most games, rather than Sheffield United in the Premiership last year, where probably 20-25% possession. So I think he's got to adjust to that. But he's not started. He's not started well. You've got to say that.
Yeah, but it is interesting when you get players from different systems. We almost saw it with Shane Patrick last season and came with glowing reviews, but he often played deep for Brighton, but then when he's playing with Celtic at the centre half, he's standing on the halfway line. So he will take time to bed in. Whether he starts against Malmo tomorrow night, we'll have to wait and see. We can hear what, well, we can't hear, we'll actually have to read. I'll read what Steven Gerrard said ahead of the tie. We haven't played at a full crowd at Ibrox in a long time. We're really looking forward to a full house. I'm in no doubt they'll turn up full of noise and passion, and it's up to us to match that. We won't use any excuses. Our last two performances were not at our level, but that one is on me, and we will take the criticism. We only need one performance to light the fire again. Now, it's important we keep a clean sheet, but we have to be aggressive and be positive looking for goals. In most games, when we have been set a challenge, these boys have delivered, and I have confidence we can do it again. We can tap into the positives from previous occasions, and that gives us confidence and belief. We have more options to throw at the game. I'm really excited. We have a lot of respect for Malmo, but it's a game we are ready for. So, of course, 2-1 down, Rangers are against Malmo. And just that line, we only need one performance to light the fire again. That's one that stands out for me, Ruffy. Do you think that can be the case?
Yeah, most definitely. When you get 50,000 supporters behind you, you know, if they get a goal early on, you would expect them to go on and win the game. As Tam says, if it goes the other way, you know, then you've got to dig in. You've got to see what characters you've got to get you to win the tie. But yeah, I think we've all been there. We've all been in the stadiums when it's Rangers or Celtic and they get a goal. The whole place just ignited. You can feel the whole place lifting. So that'll be the same case tomorrow night, particularly with it being 2-1.
Yeah.
You know, if it had been 2-0, you know, there's still a fight. You know, but if you get one goal, you know, you're thinking you're going to go and get another one.
Yeah, really looking forward to it tomorrow. You know, you don't want to say season-defining games, but it's the way we have it in Scotland. You know, you're going to be in the Champions League or not with a game that's only 3 or 4 into the season. So just a quick test of what do you think? Do you think Rangers will progress tomorrow?
I think they probably will. I think the first goal is so critical. I think the goal they got in Malmo was huge. I think if the tie had remained at 2-0, I think it's a completely different game. The complexion of it is so different. I think that late goal just breathes life into it. I think they know if they come out and get a goal, they flip the balance of it completely. The only thing is, you know, you don't have the away goal thing either, and so you're thinking Malmo will be encouraged too to come out thinking, well, if we get one goal and put that 2-goal cushion between us, then you know it's us that are on their way through. I think the home support will probably have a big part. I think there'll be a warm welcome for them. I think you know what it will be like. It will be rocking tomorrow night, and I think you would anticipate that they'll go through.
Really looking forward to seeing it. I'm not sure about the away goals rule. I was a big fan. Just thought it made it, you know, kind of special European occasion. But come on, Tam, give us your prediction.
Before Sunday against Dundee Utd, I thought Rangers were an absolute stick-on. But you know, another poor performance at the weekend. I think Rangers will just edge it. But they need to play better than they played the last 2 games. I think they've got to increase. I think I seen Gerrard speaking about there's 6 or 7 in the team who need to raise their levels, and you know, guys like Ryan Kent in particular, he's got to be better than he has been the last couple of games because he's a top player, and he's got to go and turn up tomorrow night. And if he does, I think Rangers will go through.
Okay, we'll build up even more tomorrow ahead of that crucial fixture against Malmo. Just a quick word. It's just come out in the last hour or so. The SPFL have asked the SFA to arbitrate with the dispute against Rangers over, of course, the league sponsorship. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Ruffy, do you think it's the right call from the SPFL? They reluctantly have asked the SFA to intervene.
I think they have to do it because Rangers are a member club. There's 42 clubs, you know, which they're a member, so they've got to be seen to protecting the other 40 odd, you know, and because the money gets distributed equally, you know, whenever it does. So I think they have to be seen to be doing something, and it remains to be seen how it goes.
Yeah, Alison, do you expect any resolution anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, no, but I think it's important that there is some kind of compromise, so because it affects so many clubs, and I think coming on the back of the COVID situation and the financial consequences of that, I don't think it's I think it's imperative that there's a solution sought.
Okay, we're going to leave those 2 games. We're going to move on to the teams that are all joint top at the top of the Premiership. We'll start with Aberdeen, actually. They had the best scenes, in my opinion. The fans on the pitch at the full-time whistle, Tam. Did you see it?
I did see it. I seen Scott Brown telling why I get off the park just after it. But listen, I think it's understandable. Listen, the fans have been starved at any games. A last-minute winner, you know, it's a howler by the goalie. But Aberdeen, you know, they've just got a wee bit of momentum at the minute. You know, a big support down there. Even when I was playing and even Ruffy was playing, Aberdeen always take a bit massive away support. So I can understand those kind of jubilation, those scenes. Spoke to Stephen Glass last night about it actually, and I don't think he was too happy with the fans coming on the park, but listen, I think you've got to realise that these guys, the people have not been in the ground for about a year, 18 months, so I think it was great. I liked it. I know people will say, oh, with the COVID and all that, but I love to see that. I love to see the passion of fans coming on and celebrating, and well done Aberdeen.
Yeah, I know. 2-1 win for them away at the Tony Macaroni Arena. We spoke to Stephen Glass yesterday as well, and he did defend their fans, saying that every single supporter across the country, if they had a last-minute winner in that fashion, would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I think it shows what it means. It shows what it means to any club, anytime you score a last-minute winner. But people they've had a bit of emotion pent up for the last 18 months, I think, across the whole country. And I think you'd see a similar reaction if any team scores a last-minute winner. But for us, we're delighted that we give that to the supporters.
Jack McKenzie with a huge 94th minute goal. Jack's been at the club since I think he was 8 years old. Never scores with his right foot, Ruffy. Keeper's perspective. Yeah. What's going on there?
Ruffy,
no,
Ruffy, you deceived that one. You
have headed it away.
You need to hold your hands up. I mean, you could possibly give him some excuses that came through.
What was he trying to do, do you think?
It was too easy to catch. He was probably thinking about what he was going to do once he'd got it, because it was so late in the game. Maybe trying to catch it and kick it up the park as far as, but he just took his eye off the ball, and these things happen to even the best goalkeepers. I remember Oliver Kahn in a European Cup final doing the same, and it just happens. You've just got to forget it and go on with it. But when it happened, makes it even worse than what it, when his boy's face, man, he didn't know. He just wanted to apologise to everybody, and you just got to accept it.
I always think it's worse as well when it didn't even hit the net, it just bounced over the line and he clawed it back as if it hadn't happened. But it was brutal. Aberdeen have got some momentum at the moment, though, don't they, Alison?
They've started very well. I think it's been an impressive start to, again, a new era at Pittodrie. I think Scott Brown looks as though he's been playing there forever. It's such an incongruous look at the beginning of the season in the red shirt of Aberdeen, but he's just walked into that midfield as though he's been there all along, and I think the players that have come in have settled, and it's been a fantastic start. And I think as we see so often, once you get that bit of momentum, it just feeds into the confidence levels, and you can build from there. I think if it goes the other way, I think you're almost swimming against the tide from the off. But when you have that level of momentum, I think it just feeds into everything that you're trying to do.
Everyone I know up north, plenty of Aberdeen fans, almost surprised at how good Scott Brown's been, because obviously last season, Celtic and Brown as well, he's put his hands up. They weren't up to scratch, but he didn't even start yesterday. I know they tried to make changes, but he came on and made a difference.
I don't think anybody in a Celtic jersey last season could hold their hand up. Possibly Turnbull, when he eventually got in the team, was decent, but the whole club from top to bottom was a shambles. The confidence was shot to bits. McGregor, Christie was taking abuse for the fans. McGregor, and you look at them now, both of them are playing very, very well. So I just think that players, Scott Brown in particular, he's been written off for about 5-6 years now. He's finished, and I don't think he is. I think he's still got a few something to do up in Aberdeen. Maybe even win something up there.
Yeah.
Because I think he's still got the hunger. He's concentrating. I know he was up there as a coach, but speaking to me, he's concentrating and playing. He wants to be successful at Aberdeen. They've started well. He's driving the standards, I would say, in inside and outside the dressing room. So, no, if I'm an Aberdeen fan, I'd be pretty pleased at the start of the season.
Yeah, they certainly were down in West Lothian yesterday. We also spoke to David Martindale, the Livy boss, at the full-time whistle. He said that they win together, they lose together, and he wasn't putting any blame specifically on the goalkeeper Max Stryjek.
Gutted for the boys, to be honest. Gutted for Big Max. Obviously he's made a mistake. It's kind of a bog standard save, but gutted for the big man and gutted for the group. As I always say here, it's not about the me, it's about the we. So you can't just make it about the we when we win games, when we lose games. It's the collective. So gutted for the boys, to be honest, because I think they put more than enough in the game to take something from the game. Chances created, I think we had the better chances.
Yeah, Livingston are very disappointed not to even get a point out of that. They don't quite look the same as last season, do they, Ruffy?
No, I thought they did all right.
You think they did all right?
Yeah, I thought they had a few chances. They could maybe just nicked it. I think they're disappointed in losing that late goal. I think a draw would possibly be a better result, for them. I thought some players were creating chances. They just couldn't put it away. You know, they were a bit fortunate with the goal they got. You know, that was a bit of a mess with the goalkeeper and the fullback. But no, I think the one each. If the whistle had went before the boy had thrown that in the net, they'd have been happy with one each and probably justified.
A few people in here tip them to finish bottom. Do you think they'll be okay?
I think they'll be okay. I don't know if it'll be quite as impressive as last season. I don't know if they'll make top 6, but I think they will stay up.
Yeah.
They've had a hard start, haven't they?
It's tough.
They've had a hard start. Rangers away, Aberdeen at home. I think the games are going to get easier.
Yeah.
Hopefully for them.
They certainly will. Right, come on in. It's Hibs time. Let's hear it. You there yesterday? 3-0 victory against Ross County.
I was. It was magnificent to watch. I mean, that
Magnificent to watch.
It was. I mean, I was speaking about it today. It's one of the best first halves I've seen since Tony Mowbray back in 15, 16 years ago, and that was a great Hibs team with all the young players in it. But you know, Hibs, the football they're playing at the minute, McGuinness in particular, has been a revelation. He's moved them into the middle of the park. Felt sorry for him last season. Came in, wasn't fit. Jack Ross played him out wide a lot of times. He's not a wide player. He just played him in behind the striker yesterday and behind Doidge. And he's got an engine. He's intelligent again. Make runs in behind. Excellent player. Jake Doyle-Hayes been a great signing. No, listen, Hibs 3-0 could have been 4 or 5 in the first half, and second half they just coasted with the European game coming up on Thursday. But if you're a Hibby, never mind being an Aberdeen fan, if you're a Hibby, you must be absolutely thrilled at the way Hibs are playing some football at the minute. Yeah,
I'm really impressed with McGuinness. He's in the team of the week that we'll get on to later. He scored Doidge and Boyle. Interestingly, 6 goals though, and this is the same players that scored last week and this week. They've got so many options across the pitch, Ruffy. You know, they almost are starting to have 2 teams.
I was impressed with Jamie Murphy. I thought Jamie Murphy was absolutely excellent. He showed all the experience you would think he would have in his locker, and I thought he was the main man. Obviously, Boyle's pace gave that full-back absolute pelters. But no, like Tam says, you have to be impressed if you're watching that style of play and you're getting it all the time. You know, and it is encouraging because we all think it's Aberdeen or Hibs, you know, 3rd or 4th or whatever. So no, great performance and good to watch. Teams playing that open, expansive football and using the players to their strength. You know, Boyle's pace and, as I say, Murphy's knowledge of the game. It was just brilliant to watch.
Boyle's the one. Boyle's the one they need to keep. I'm Hibs fans will be throwing things at the telly. I'm surprised that they're still at Hibs. I really am.
Really?
I thought that.
What do you think, down south or
I think
the old firm?
I think you could play in the Championship easily in England. I think you could go and compete for a spot at Celtic and Rangers. No advocating selling him, but I just think Hibs are lucky to have him. He's been outstanding for 18 months, 2 years, every week. Even if he's not playing well, he's still, you know, he gets people booked, he creates chances, he's fit, you know, his pace. He's a massive asset for Hibs, and Jack took him off after about an hour yesterday. We're looking ahead to Thursday.
Every time I speak to him, he seems really settled there. He's happy, you know, his family there. And
I think his wife plays for Hibs Ladies.
Yeah, she does.
I don't know if she still
Rachel
does.
Boyle,
but Rachel, and I seen he was out in the park yesterday with his wee kid, and I seen him there. So I think he is settled in Edinburgh. He's just signed a new contract at Hibs, so he is settled, and hopefully he stays at Hibs the rest of his career, I would say. Yeah,
they'll hope you keep him. How about Josh Doig? We thought last week when we heard from Jack Ross he was on the verge of a move. I spoke to him on Tuesday or Wednesday, and he said it wasn't quite as close, and he started, got an assist. Do you think perhaps he might stay, Alison?
I think it's a really hard one to call. I think there's been definite interest. I think I'm not sure what the situation was this week. I think when he was left out of the game against Motherwell at Fir Park, I think we all thought it was imminent, as in, you know, the next 24 to 48 hours. I think I was quite surprised to see him start at the weekend. I was surprised he was back in the squad. I still think he'll go. I don't think he'll be there at the end of the season, and I think it's maybe just a case of Jack Ross speaking to him and finding out where his focus is and where his head is and whether or not he's been affected by everything going on. You have to remember he's 19. You know, he's had one good season, 19, there's clubs in for you, and what could be a life-changing move in terms of the finance involved and everything. Sometimes I think it might just be a relief to go back and play football and not have to think about it for an hour and a half. You get some respite from it, because I think, as we all know, these things can drag at times with all the terms and clauses and contracts and whatnot. But I have to say, I don't think he'll be a Hibs player come the end of the window.
I think they'll get plenty for him though if he does go. Just before we leave Hibs, Jack said that they were confident going into the game against Rijeka on Thursday. Would you be confident? You know, that they probably should have won last week. Yeah. Disappointed to draw, but why not when they're playing open, expansive football? Can they go over there and win?
I think they can. I think they can go over there and win. I think they've got to be tighter at the back. I thought Ross County at times yesterday when they put balls in the box, you know, Hibs were a wee bit nervy again, so that seems to be the Achilles heel, just cross balls. But if Hibs can keep it tight at the back, you'd fancy them to score anywhere, you know, with the players I've got. And I wasn't too impressed with Rijeka during the week, but I think they'll be a different kettle of fish on their own patch. But hopefully, like all the Scottish clubs, you want them to get through, and you're only one step away from the group stages if you do.
Yeah, we'll build up to that more on Wednesday and Thursday. Quick word on Ross County, Ruffy. 0 shots on target. They've not got a League Cup game at the weekend, so 2 weeks off for Malky Mackay and his men. Do you think that'll be good for them, you know?
I think it's the same every year with Ross County. They bring in like 8 players and expect them all to just go into the team and they all play well, you know, and they do it year on year. If it's not working by Christmas, another 6 go out and another 6 come in. So I think the sooner he gets the 11 that he wants. I know all these players are all coming up for quality teams like Arsenal and that, but they're all young boys. You know, they've got to be exceptional, you know, to go right into a team and show the form that everybody thinks they're going to have in 2 or 3 years. So it's just getting that blend. You know, we've had tons of players up down south with Partick Thistle, and it just doesn't work, you know. And even Rangers and Celtic, young boys getting into teams, doesn't work all the time. They have to be really quality.
I think sometimes clubs down south might think, oh, we'll just send them up north, it's a lesser level, it'll be easy for them, but they forget how physical it is. It's still top level man's football. So yeah, completely see where you come with Ruffy, and Ross County, all Staggies fans will hope that they improve when they come back after a 2-week break. Still got 2 games to go through, but what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the league table right now, because there's 3 teams sitting at the top who perhaps we didn't think would. Of course, it's Hibernian, Aberdeen, but we've also got Hearts on 6 points. Joint top after 2-1 away win to St Mirren. Ruffy, I know you're the only one that tipped Hearts to go to Paisley and win. Alison, did we perhaps underestimate Hearts coming up? We know, massive club, but they were in the Championship last season. I think I tipped them to come 5th or 6th, but they've been really impressive so far.
I think we have underestimated them so far, and I think it was based on a fairly, it seems absurd to say, an indifferent season last year when they won the Championship, but I think they weren't as impressive as I think you might have expected them to be given the budget they had in comparison to everyone round about them. But I don't think you could be critical of the start that they've had to the league campaign. I think 6 points from their opening 2 games, they'll be delighted with that, and it goes back to what we spoke about earlier about just giving yourself a foundation to go and build on and bringing in some belief and some momentum. But yeah, I'd have to hold my hands up and say I didn't anticipate them being quite so impressive at this point.
Tough start as well. Celtic at home, Paisley away. It looks like it's going to be a really strong year in the top flight. But I wanted to ask all 3 of you, is there any chance that we could see any of these teams push high? Could they catch one of the old firm? You know, Celtic and Rangers both. I can't remember the last time that both of them had lost in the opening 2 game weeks. And then you've got Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen all winning.
I hope so. I'd love it. I'd love to see it. Listen, Ruffy played in an era where it was Dundee Utd and Aberdeen's were challenging, and you know, particularly my era, I've never really seen anybody come close to toppling Celtic or Rangers. I'd love to see a Hearts, a Hibs and Aberdeen really going up there and putting it up to them. I think over the course of the 36, 38 games, I don't think they've got the depth of the squad to go and do it, but I think Hibs play Hearts in 2 or 3 weeks' time. I think that'd be great if both of them are going into that unbeaten in a top-of-the-table clash, and I really, really genuinely hope that they can go and challenge, but I just think that Rangers and Celtic will finish what they usually do, 20, 25 points clear of 3rd.
Right,
I think Charlie McGrew made a good point that I think these teams have got their act together a wee bit more than like last year. Aberdeen and Hibs weren't doing as well as what they usually do against Rangers and Celtic, but I think now if Rangers and Celtic go to Aberdeen or they go to Easter Road or they go to Tannadice, they're going to get a better game, because I think these teams have sort of got themselves better players and seem to be more organised, maybe a better manager at Aberdeen. You know, Hibs have got good players coming in. So I think from that aspect, I think the league will be better, but I think Rangers and Celtic will still be 1st and 2nd, but I think we'll see more competitive games away from home for these 2.
Yeah, it's interesting you say it, Ruffy. I think you're right, top to bottom, especially Aberdeen and Hibs, they look like they've got their house in order, they've kind of got clear structures. But Alison, if you were to pick one of those 3 teams, who are most likely to challenge, you think, the old firm?
On current evidence, I think I would go for Hibs. I think just on the way that they're playing, and again, it's a fairly settled team. but I don't think anyone's got the resources to compete over the course of a full campaign. I think once you get to Christmas, once you're on the other side of that, and injuries and suspensions start to have an effect on your squad, I think you see Celtic and Rangers pull away from the rest. I think you see the gap really start to widen and open up, and I think it's inevitable when you look at the financial disparity between them and the rest, and I don't think that will change anytime soon.
No, I think obviously Aberdeen did split the odd firm a couple of times and Rangers just came back up, but was it Hearts the last team to do it? Maybe did they do it under Burley, maybe 2005, 2006?
Yep.
But they were really impressive at the weekend. Liam Boyce looks like, you know,
Yeah,
he should be playing in the top flight anyway last season.
Good player, good striker. Surprised that Hearts got him, actually. I think he's a top player, great finisher, international player. Shifts at his right foot. As soon as he gets on that foot, bang. He's clinical. And I've been a wee bit surprised at Hearts because, like Alison, we'd seen him last season in the Championship a lot on BBC or whatever, and watching the games. Wasn't impressive at all. I thought Robbie Nielsen coming into this season was under pressure, but fair play to them. They played some nice stuff as well at the weekend. You know, it's not usually agricultural Hearts, but they look as if they're getting the ball down, try to play and try to change your style of play as well. So I think if you're a Hearts fan, a Hibs fan or an Aberdeen fan, you know, two wins out of two, you know, you're after a flyer, and they've all got to play each other soon. I think Aberdeen play Hearts the next game, so we'll soon see who's the real deal.
Yeah, Hearts got a tough run of fixtures. I think they've got Celtic in the League Cup, they've got Aberdeen, and they've got Hibs as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on there, but they've done well in their 2 games so far. Disappointing for St Mirren. I tipped them to finish in the top half this season. I think they've only got 1 point so far. Poor start for Jim Goodwin's men, Ruffy.
I think he'll see it as a poor start. You want to win your home game. You know, that's the game you want to kick off with. But I still think I don't think they're a top 6 team. I think they'll just be outside it. But it's certainly good to watch. You know, if you're a supporter, I think you'll get entertained in a lot of the games, and they have got good players. I think holding on to McGrath is a big one. You know, I've led to believe there are bids in for him, but that would be a big blow for them.
We'll have to wait and see. There's constantly news about bids coming in from McGrath and McCarthy at the back as well. Shaughnessy with the goal at the weekend, but I think we'll just hope. I think Goodwin feels that if he can keep hold of his best players, then perhaps that is when they can get the top 6. One other game, St Johnstone against Motherwell, 1-1 yesterday. St Johnstone just seemed to draw every single game in the minute.
I think just coming off the back of that performance in that game in Turkey, and I think they were playing, what was it, 30 degrees, 32 degrees. I think just coming back, and you have the physical fatigue of it and the mental fatigue as well too. I think you put so much in to that game. I think that might be the only score I got right. Actually, was to
1-1
to see a draw, but yeah, I think just on the back of a really sapping game on Thursday night.
3 draws in this season, 6 out of 7 if you include pre-season. But I know they'll be looking at Thursday night, won't they? They've just got approval as well for capacity crowd if they can
surely,
get it up.
Surely they fill that ground with the success they've had. If they can't fill that ground now, they will never fill it. You know, there's got to be an absolute pile on to get tickets for that for the St Johnstone fans with how successful they've been. I still give them a chance to beat Galatasaray. I think it'll be tough because the onus is now shifted a little bit. I think St Johnstone are big underdogs now. People are thinking, why they've got a chance. So that's a wee bit of a change of mindset. We've got a chance to put out a big club here and take a scalp. Sander Clark made some outstanding saves. One down low, was an unbelievable save. I think he's got to be in top form again on Thursday. Great goal from Tony Watt coming off the bench. Motherwell, a decent start for them. Unlucky not to get a point against Hibs, I thought. So, no, I think that St Johnstone going forward, this is a huge game for them on Thursday.
Yeah,
it really is.
Huge game. We'll get on to that in just a second. But Steve Clark was in the stand.
Yeah. He's got to seriously start looking at younger goalkeepers because the two, obviously David Marshall's going to be leaving Derby now, and obviously Craig Gordon's getting on. So I think he's got to start introducing them. He's got to start giving them a feel of what it's going to be like when these two sort of a stand aside, you know. And Sander Clark's done nothing wrong. I mean, I know the boy McLaughlin played at the weekend, but he never played enough games for me, and I thought Sander Clark's form for the whole season justified being the third goalie, just to give him a taste.
Do you expect him to be in the squad? I think must name it soon. I think in a couple of weeks he'll be naming it.
I think you would anticipate him to be in or around it. I think if he's not in it, he must be in the manager's thoughts to have been there. Or I think over the course of the World Cup qualifiers, once he get up and running, I think if he's not in this squad, I think you would expect to see him in and around future squads if he sustains the kind of form that you're seeing just now.
Yeah, if he gets into the squad, he's got to do something with that beard. That's getting
You're not a fan?
It's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. What are we doing here? Like, what's his name? Captain Birdseye said.
Captain Birdseye, there you go. Get Birdseye in the Scotland squad. Right, there is one squad that Xander Clark has made it in. It's in my Team of the Week. Xander Clark had another fine display impressing spectators, including Scotland boss Steve Clarke. Anthony Ralston scored another goal any forward would be proud of. That's 2-2 for him now. Charlie Mulgrew was man of the match at Tannadice, and he got his head onto everything that Rangers threw at them. Jamie Robson scored the biggest goal of his career on a raucous day in Dundee, and he was solid defensively also. Jack McKenzie tried all game and got his just reward with the last-minute winner, sending the travelling dandies wild. Callum Butcher led by example and drove his team on, whilst whipping up the Tannadice stands. Yando Fuchs beat the Gers players to every second ball, and he moved the ball forwards quickly as well. Kyle McGuinness has started the season brightly for Hibs and got on the score sheet with a great header. Ryan Christie looks back to his aggressive and direct best. He got a hat-trick of assists on Sunday. Kyogo Furuhashi scored a hat-trick himself for Celtic with his electric movement and finishing, making him seem the part. Liam Boyce scored and assisted for Hearts on Saturday, and he'll be key in their push for a European place. There we have it, Team of the Week for Game Week 2. You usually give me pelters for not picking enough Hibs players. You happy with that?
No, not really, no. I mean, Martin Boyle, he's not in it.
Oh,
And Jamie Murphy.
Jamie Murphy,
right,
Doyle,
who's coming out?
Jake Doyle Hayes, you could have put in, Porteous.
Celtic scored 6.
Nisbet.
Nisbet. Oh, sorry. You'd have had Boyle in, would you?
I'd have had Boyle in or Murphy.
Okay.
But
I felt bad because I didn't put McGuinness in last week. I thought it was him or Boyle last week. Went for Boyle, so I've gone for McGuinness this week.
Okay. Yeah.
And 4 Dundee United players in as well. They were my standout performers of the weekend. I just thought they were fantastic at Tannadice.
Defensively, when they come into the box, they were winning it. You know, once they get the bit between the teeth, you know, you like big centre halves like that to just go for everything, and that's what they did.
You think Mulgrew was a red card?
Which one?
The one who goes through, Morelos goes through. Do you think he was getting on the end of that? No?
No, not a red card for me. I didn't see it back live, obviously I was in the stand, but no, I thought it was not a red. Not a red. And I thought that Dundee United were actually worthy of their victory, even though that Rangers did have chances. Goldson had that header towards the second half, but Seagrass didn't make too many saves, 1 or 2.
One, I think he had.
Yeah.
I think Tom makes a good point. Ryan Kent, you're expecting Ryan Kent to
poor.
be the man, you know, it lifts everybody and does something special, you know, but he did nothing.
He was fantastic last season with his goals and assists. He was one of my players of the season, but he was coming far too deep on Saturday. I don't know if that was because the midfield balance wasn't right, but he was getting shouted at by the touchline as well. You need to stay higher. Razza, they call him. Get higher. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow night. We'll be building up more to the Rangers game. The competition for last week is over. We can now confirm that the winner of the Motherwell shirt is Ricky Mullen. Congratulations to you. We'll be sending that out this week. And stay tuned. We'll be back with another competition, a fresh one, tomorrow. Stay tuned to see if it is your team's shirt that you could win. We're going to have a quick look at the pundits' predictions as well. We don't have a graphic yet, so I'm going to read out. It is Tam top. 3 correct predictions. All yesterday, were they?
It's just the usual, isn't it? It's just the norm now.
Oh, is it?
Coming off the back of one in a row last year. And there's,
and
there's also something never changes.
Oh, but I got my act together. I had 8 the first week, I had 11 this week.
11's
so,
alright.
Yeah, 11's fine.
You're still
so
bottom.
I'm still bottom.
Roughly still
the
bottom
gap's closing.
19 points. 19 points. It is quite tight, but obviously we're still early on. We've got Alison, Hugh and Peter all on 21 points and myself on 22. You got a 2-point gap at the top. You happy with that?
Yeah, I think that is only going to get bigger as the season goes on, to be honest.
Yeah. You going unbeaten all season?
Possibly.
That's the aim. Right, okay.
Stay humble.
Oh, I know. 2 games in, bragging already. You see him piping up in the WhatsApp.
I'll be bottom of the league in a couple of weeks. I'm only just saying it now because I'm top.
Well, you don't want to come last because now there's more people in it. Roughly we're buying meals for 6 people.
If you come last, that is going to be a hefty bill.
I've started chipping in a kitty already, just sort of building up for the
Just
whole
in case
season.
you're last.
Just something to fall back and
Started doing mortgages.
All right, just before we go, The massive news coming out of Barcelona this weekend that captain Lionel Messi will be leaving Camp Nou after 21 years. He had an emotional farewell press conference yesterday. He is likely to confirm his move to Paris Saint-Germain over the next few days, but we can hear from the Argentinian right now.
Y me retiro de este club sin verlo, y ya va más de un año y medio, y la verdad que ya te digo, si lo hubiese imaginado con el estadio lleno, pudiendo estar cerca de la gente y pudiéndome despedir de ellos bien.
Yeah, so it's heartbreaking that a player like Lionel Messi doesn't get to say goodbye to the fans, Tam, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, listen, the guy's a legend. He's been through the ranks at Barcelona. Barcelona's will always be his club. I actually was like, a lot of people think, why does he not just take no money or just whatever? But yeah, I don't think you're allowed to do that. According to the rules, it's
just take something. That's
the fair play. No, I don't think you can even do that.
That's what we did in our careers. We just took something. Just keep a contract.
I don't think you can do that.
No, but why PSG? I don't get that.
Well, because PSG.
When do you think the clubs with the Chelseas and the Man Cities? And
So he, what they expect the contract is a €25 million signing on fee, so straight to him this week, and then €25 million a year for 2 years, with an option of a third year. But I don't know if it's just the football romantic in me, but I'd have loved to see him go to not a super club, someone like
Thistle.
No, you saw the jokes too, but even like Maradona went to Napoli, something like that, just go to
Spurs or something.
Yeah,
just
fuck the juniors. Why doesn't he go back here?
No, I think his team are Newell's Old Boys.
Newell's Old Boys.
But come on, where would you have liked to see him go? Spurs?
So, I know what you're saying. Go and be the man that can deliver success to a team that might not have it. Go and be the difference somewhere. Whereas if he goes to PSG or Man City, the two teams that are probably the only two who could afford him, you're going to be part of a success story. You're going to complement what's already there, rather than the likes of what Maradona done at Napoli and go and single-handedly help a team to success.
Mm-hmm. PSG then, Champions League favourites, got Ramos as well. Donnarumma from the European Championships.
They've got them on for nothing, haven't they?
Yeah.
Wijnaldum from Liverpool.
Their
wage bill must be astronomical. For getting him for nothing, they must be giving him a fortune.
Well, they've relaxed the financial fair play because of COVID, so I think the big clubs that have got the money are just going, right, let's go for it this year.
The boy Donnarumma, let his what age is he, Donnarumma?
22, 23?
He let his contract run down, and he's on 400 or something grand a week. At 5-year deal he signed at PSG.
How much you used to be on back in the day?
That's what you'd have been on. You were born at the wrong time.
I know. 40 years too. No, they're always my team this year.
Paris Saint-Germain?
Yeah, but there will be again, obviously, if he goes there.
Yeah.
I picked him every year.
He does, because he's a glory hunter, just follows the money. He's looking for a gig with PSG, hopefully somebody tunes in one day and goes, oh, get him here for a bit of commentary.
Yeah, I know. Maybe you can give Donnarumma some tips. To be the top
I don't
keeper.
think he needs any tips. He looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what number he's going to wear. I'm interested because obviously you've got Neymar wearing number 10 and Di Maria 11 and Mbappe 7 or something like that. Who's going to take the penalties?
Oh, that was funny in Parkhead, wasn't it?
No,
Edward taking the penalty.
Ed was looking down to him going, that but I like the ball. He's the ball.
I know. It's good. We'll have to wait and see. We'll be keeping up to date with all of the latest Lionel Messi goings on over the next few days, but that's all we've got time for. Thank you to all three of you for joining me. Thank you to you at home for watching as well. That is all we've got time for, but we'll continue to build up to the massive European fixtures throughout the week. We've got Rangers playing tomorrow and then 4 teams on Thursday as well. So stay tuned to PLZ Soccer. We'll also be having our new shirt competition tomorrow. Tune in to find out which team's jersey we are giving away. And also don't forget to download our app. You can do that on the App Store or in Google Play. You can send in a video letting us know how your team have started the season and how you think the next few weeks are going to go. But once again, from everyone here, from myself, Gabriel and Tony Atzi, thanks for watching and bye-bye.